We are live.
All right. How's everyone doing? We just giving it some time, letting everybody come through, and doing my first live Q&A session of 2020. Hope how's everyone's 2020 going? Hope mine is going great. It's going excellent. So let me go ahead and just share this real quick while we're just waiting for everyone to come through. For those of you who are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe and like this video.
Someone's aboard.
And just gonna go on the social media. But yeah, so today I'm doing my first Q&A session. So every Thursday from 6 to 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. Basically, just be doing a live Q&A. You guys can come aboard, guys and girls can come aboard and ask your questions. It can be code related, it can be entrepreneur related, it can just be anything. It's my time to chop it up with you all. I'm still going to be doing my coding live streams or whatnot, but I wanted to do one time a week where it's just kind of raw and real and audience driven. So, uh, you know, in the meantime, while we're waiting, there's a couple tech things I want to talk about, news related and whatnot. But see, I just shared that. No need to also go to Twitter. Big old Twitter. Oh man, I'm not even logged in on Twitter right now. Well, I have to do that. Ah,
He said, "Man, I'm here. I'm." Someone said they're here for real estate.
here for real estate. All right, cool. That's part of entrepreneurship. Let me see. Let me pull up. I got the chat pulled up right here. All right,
Dale Ross.
Dale Ross. Okay, you're typing out of Philly. Well, first of all, shout out to Philly. Um, actually, huh? That article I was going to talk about had to do with Philadelphia's in Pennsylvania, right? Is that same?
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh's also in Pennsylvania. Yeah. Okay. It's talking about how Pittsburgh is a better city for tech than Silicon Valley. I will get into all of that. So you want to talk about real estate? Well, what's your question? You can go ahead and start off with the first question of the evening. Oh yeah, here let me reply in the chat. Um, what is your question? I wish I could make this bigger. But while I'm waiting for the questions to come through, like I said, go ahead and share this live stream. Let everyone know that I'm here, doing the Q&A. Like this video, subscribe if you aren't subscribed. But while we're waiting for the first question to come in about real estate, let me just reiterate: this Q&A time can be about anything entrepreneurial or engineering related. So for those of you who follow me, you either follow me for app development, you follow me for real estate, or you follow me for music. Those are pretty much the three things that I do: music, real estate, and apps. So this doesn't just have to be a technical live stream. It can be about
Okay.
anything.
So let's read from Dale Ross. He says, "Well, I've attended those sit down, listen, pull it up live on the
Yeah. Okay, I see. Well,
listen, then buy our package things. I just want to know the ideal start method or systems to use."
okay. All right. So do you plan on buying in the Philly area? That's the first question I'm going to ask. If you're not going to buy in the Philly area,
Saw another free one today.
okay. If you're not going to buy in the Philadelphia area, you need to pick out your first demographic. So for me, I buy in the Louisville, Kentucky area. All right. So the first way that there's many ways to get started. They're traditional and
He
non-traditional
said,
ways.
"Ideally, yes."
Ideally, yes. Okay, so you want to buy in the Philadelphia area. So I don't know the Philly market like the back of my hand, like some of my other colleagues and stuff do. But what I would do is look up the different ways that which you can get in. Are you? I don't know if Pennsylvania is a tax lien or a tax deed state. You need to look up those differences. But if you are a tax deed state,
He said
Then
Orlando has a piece of his heart too.
Orlando has a piece of your heart too. Awesome. Okay, well, I know buying in Florida. If you want to buy in Florida, there's many avenues to get into Florida in the Florida real estate market. But let's stick on Philly and Pennsylvania for a second. So let's say that you are a tax deed state, which I don't know. You're gonna have to verify if you're a tax lien or a tax deed state. But if you're a tax deed state, then one of the easiest and cheapest ways to get into real estate is to buy tax deeds. So go and find property. You can just go up to the local sheriff's office and be like, hey, I'm looking for property whose property taxes have not been paid. You can pay those taxes. Oftentimes, you can settle and pay, less than what it's worth, and then you can get what's called a tax deed from the state, from the sheriff's department, which you take to your county clerk. And with that tax deed, you have ownership of that property, and all you did was just pay the taxes. That's a very, very, very cheap way of getting into property. Sometimes there's stipulations like you have to hold it for X amount of years, you have to live in it for X amount of years, et cetera, et cetera. Another thing I would do is look at look for people who are look for property that is for sale by owner. Okay, because oftentimes you can get the best deals by buying directly from someone who is selling the property themselves. And sometimes you can find someone who's willing to finance that property to you themselves, which is called seller financing. So in situations like this, let's say you find a property, the property is $100,000. The property is being sold by the owner, and they say, hey, we will finance this house to you. So put down $5,000 and pay, I don't know, 600 bucks a month for 15 years. I'm just making up numbers here. And then you're going to get the deed. Or you'll get what's called a warranty deed once you pay more than 50% of the house. And then they'll solidify the deed after you finish paying the house. But in situations like that, it's a win-win on both sides, because the seller is able to get a residual stream by being able to finance the house to you and still retain ownership of the property until you pay the majority stake of the mortgage. And then you get to get a house, don't have to deal with the banks turning you down because you're being financed directly from the person who you're buying the property from. If any of this doesn't make sense, let me know. But you win by not having to deal with the banks. You can get it usually cheaper, and you can get in, and the seller wins because nobody's taking out any commissions.
It's good so far.
Cool. Nobody's taking out any commissions out of their check. They're getting an upfront cost and they're getting a residual. I love for sale by owner and seller financed homes and properties. Another thing that you should consider is buying land and then developing on the land, because you're going to get the maximum return by doing land development, and it's also the cheapest way to own a piece of property, typically, than buying a structure that's already built. So, for example, my business partner and I, we bought an empty lot that was right next to a property that we had that had a 3-bedroom home that we purchased. So we are having a house built on that lot, and the home will be finished in a few weeks. So we bought the lot, which was about 6,000 square feet, for $500 cash. That lot, when we bought it, its taxed assessed value was $3,000. So off top from the $500, we've already increased our net worth by 6. Increased our worth by 6 because it's worth $3,000. If you're following me so far, now we're building a house to put on top of that, which was going to exponentially raise the whole value of the property that we got free and clear for $500. The taxes on that land is only $40 a year. So the return we're going to get once the house is being built, and then we have to get our plumbing and electric and all that good stuff done. But once the house is completely rent ready, the return on the investment, and we're going to make more than $500 in the first month. We're going to make that return on the investment from the land back from the first month. Is that making sense? So I suggest, if you have the patience for it, then start buying land. Look for lots in the inner city, places that look for places that can not only be good residential property, but also good commercial property. Because if you can own the land, which businesses are going to lease out to do, business, then that's another avenue you can go besides just renting out to residents. So does that make sense? And do you have any other questions? Another, if not, then I'll go ahead and continue with the third way. The third way is auctions. So good stuff, man. Awesome. Cool. Appreciate it. So the third way that you can do it is through auctions. So these can be auctions by the city. This can be estate auctions after somebody passes away. These would be business auctions. So in all three of these scenarios, you're almost virtually guaranteed to get these properties for pennies on the dollar. Um, tax right in hand. It's a pretty simple process. You just have to have that capital with you on hand up front. So if you have the winning bid, you can make your purchase. So, and then the fourth way is look inside of your family, like your extended family. You may be surprised about who in your extended family has property that they might be willing to sell to family, keep it in the family. So those are some ways. Do you have any more questions on that? And is there anything you want me to delve into a little bit more, a little bit deeper? I can go in as deep as you want. But if not, then I appreciate that question. You're actually the first person to ask me about real estate, which makes me really excited because I'm making my transition over into doing real estate more, of a full-time thing, and to complement my app revenue. Cool. But yeah. So speaking of Philadelphia or Pennsylvania, the Philadelphia or Pittsburgh. I'm gonna have to pull up that article. But there was an article basically talking about the list of cities that are better for tech than Silicon Valley. When you adjust the cost of living for living in San Francisco, the average tech employee only makes about $50,000. It's pretty crazy. Outside of systems to support the search, that was a pretty good bit of info. Yeah, man. I mean, if you and also remember, I do one-on-one consultations. So if you are interested in buying in a certain area and you would want to go have a better insight of how to go about doing it, we can schedule a one-on-one consultation. I'll do some research in the areas in which you're trying to buy, and then I can give you a good overview about which direction that you should take in that area that you're trying to buy. My rate, so I do charge $75 an hour, so minimum 1 hour, and basically is at as long as you want to go. So I do suggest you probably go for about 90 minutes. 1 hour is kind of pushing, you kind of cramming stuff in. 90 minutes for a tailored one-on-one experience is going to give you more of a rounded view of the area they're trying to look in. But ultimately, it's up to you. Minimum 1 hour, 75 an hour. Not bad at all. I don't think so either, man. So if that's something you're interested in doing, you can head on over to my website. I'm gonna put the link right here in the chat, JyroneParker.com/appointments, and you can just put something on the calendar. I'll be more than obliged to let you know. The only thing that I ask is do give me at least 48 hours notice on the calendar so that I can have time to do the research in the area that you are looking to invest in. And there should be an area for you to put notes. So just put what city or region you're looking to invest in, and then give me at least 48 hours. And that's something that we can more than definitely get going for you. And I appreciate the question. I appreciate the interaction, and I appreciate the feedback. All right. So, are there any more questions? Oh man, that was a quick little 16 minutes on real estate. I love it. I love it. So, speaking of real estate, look out for it in a couple of days. Cool. Appreciate it. Much love. Much love. Speaking of real estate, this is going to definitely be the year of the smart homes, and we're getting into tiny homes, which is a really, 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 really fascinating world. But be on the lookout this year for some videos of not only smart tiny homes, but the software that's going to be powering the home is going to be written by moi and customized by yours truly. So I'm really excited about some of the things that we're gonna be getting popping in this software realm. Man, oh man. So but yeah, so back to what I was saying about oh man. Oh, that vape hit. So back to what I was saying about the cities that are better than Silicon Valley. I think Silicon Valley ranked ninth, or it might have been sixth or ninth for the cities with the best STEM, um, with the best like STEM cost of living and way of life. I can't find the article right this second, but basically California's so expensive that even if you're making 150,000, $140,000 a year, when you adjust for the cost of living, you're making about $51,000, which is less than what I'd be making here as a software engineer in Louisville, Kentucky, because it's actually cheaper to live here in Louisville, Kentucky than the rest of the country. So we have um, I think we have a multiplier on our cost of living. So like $1 is like $1.12 or something like that compared to the rest of the country. So I'm actually making more working here than I am out there, even though I'm not making much on paper. You have to do the cost of living adjustment. Basically, engineers here will be able to keep more of their earnings. And as someone who lived out in the Bay and then moved back to Kentucky, I can definitely tell you like if we had the innovation of Silicon Valley that was more spread out and dispersed amongst the other states, people wouldn't be looking to move to Silicon Valley. There's other places that have palm trees and beaches, but they just don't have the tech. So I think it's more important now than I think it's more important now than ever that municipalities start incentivizing tech companies to move into their spaces so they can get people to move to their cities. There's a huge mass exodus from California. People are moving to Arizona. People are moving to Nevada. People are moving to Colorado. People are moving everywhere but California because it's so expensive. So, um, and I think there's a reason why like Microsoft opened up their AI hub here in Louisville and their IoT hub. I think they're realizing that the Midwest is vastly overlooked in terms of like tech talent. We have really good schools that teach really good computer science, and we lower cost of living and lower cost of business expenses. So it's going to be interesting to see over the next 5 years to a decade, what the tech landscape and the tech demographics and geography is going to look like. In the world, in the whole world, there's about 25 million coders. Now, compare that to 7 billion people in the world. That's a very, very, very small number, and I believe there's less than half of them are in the. I believe there's only a couple million in the U.S. Don't quote me on that. Um, Actually, that's something I can Google. I'll just Google it real quick. Let me see. How many coders are in the United States? In North America, they put the number of developers around 4.4 million. That's it. That's in North America, and I don't know how many of those are in the United States, but I'm sure that's including Canada and Mexico as well. So there's 25 million in the world, 4.4 in North America. There's
That's pretty big.
millions of jobs that are being unfulfilled. Millions, millions. So, part of the reason why I came out to Kentucky is because I wanted to have my own thing. I wanted to have my own brand. I wanted to create jobs. I wanted to be self sufficient, self sustaining. So I'm definitely want to be one of the companies that are looking to stay in Louisville and start bringing talent in. Just hired a junior developer. Have two have hired two other people, so we're about the team's growing up to 3 people, excluding myself. Um, we still have our offshore developer in India, so if you count him, there's 4, excluding myself. And yeah, I mean, there's just more than enough to go around, and everyone shouldn't be trying to move to California. So the gist of what I'm saying. But yeah, I mean, let's see. We have about 7 minutes left in this live. I feel like this was really good. Had some good questions. I'm gonna do this every Thursday. So if you have any questions, if you're watching this on the recap and you didn't get a chance to ask a question that you wanted to ask, you can do one or two things. You can either leave them as a comment on the video, and I can address them next week before I start the new Q&A, or you can just wait until next week, join the live stream, and ask your question. So, like I said, I would greatly appreciate it if everyone who's watching this, please like and share. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. And yeah, I'm being consistent. 2020 is about consistency for me. I have all the tools. I have I have everything in place. I have my real estate. I have my apps. I have my YouTube. I have my blog. That's about being consistent, pumping out content, and just keeping it moving. 2020 clear vision. Good afternoon. Does that say lunar?
Yeah, Lunar
Lunar
Scorpio.
Lunar Scorpio. How you doing? Good afternoon. Where you tuning in from? Where are you tuning in from? I'm doing good. You in Las Vegas? Las Vegas. How is it out there right now? What's the weather like? Cause it's cold. It is. It's cold here. And also, please, you got a question for me? I would love if you have a question for me. It's warming up. Warming up. Yeah. Look, I got the toboggan on inside the house. You feel me? Like, it's cold out here. But that's cool. That's cool. I haven't been out to Vegas yet. Yeah, I hate winter too, man. I used to fly back and forth. What they call them? Travel see snowbirds. Is that what they call people who travel to warm places for the winter? That's what me and my family used to do. It's just like as soon as it gets cold, we fly back out to Cali and then come back in like March type shit. You feel me? But what's up? You got a question? We're talking about apps. We're talking about real estate. Talk about anything. Yeah, that's what I need to do. That's what's up. That's what's up. But what I was saying about consistency. So Thursdays gonna have my live stream. Wednesdays, what are what are the best projects to get a job in web dev? Okay, that's a common question that I get. So, what are the best projects to get a job? It's not so much about what the project is, more so of how you implemented the project. So, for example, you can make a to do project, just a simple like to do project, right? You know, simple functionality, but you do things like you integrated web push, you you know use a fancy new API like I don't know web Bluetooth or something like that. You were using you had a serverless backend. You had you built using Lambda functions. It's about how you implemented it. But at the end of the day, it's really about how you sell yourself. When you're trying to get a job, it's a lot like marketing. You are marketing yourself. Why should I, as a company, hire you? So, let's take my company, J Computer Solutions. So, if you were interviewing for me for a web dev position, what I'm looking for is why should J Computer Solutions hire Lunar Scorpio? What will Lunar Scorpio bring to the table? Because I already have the assumption that anyone who I hire knows how to code, and anyone who comes to interview knows how to code. Otherwise, I don't think they would embarrass themselves and come to a coding interview, if that makes sense. So so the fact whether or not you know how to code, I'm going to assume you know. It's how much of an innovative engineer are you? Engineering is the perfect crossroad but intersection between art and science. Okay? So how artful did you do that algorithm? How efficient was it? You know, how masterful, how much of a master of a craft of your craft are you? That's stuff that yeah, I can see in projects to an extent, but I'm really going to see that on the job. So like I said, when you're applying for these jobs and these contracts or what have you, you want to be selling yourself. Like I, Lunar Scorpio, you want me on your team because I stay on the latest technologies. Check my GitHub. I'm using WebAuth API. I'm using Web Bluetooth. I'm using the Web Payments API. I'm doing Web Assembly modules. I'm doing things that the market says is going to be valuable in the next couple of years, but everyone else isn't doing. This is why you want me because if you get me on my team, I'm going to be innovative. I'm going to be slick, and my work is going to make you generate money. Because at the end of the day, that's why they're hiring you. You know how much of an asset you are. So don't get so hung up on what project I should make. Make whatever you want to make. Make whatever you want to make. Remember, there's only 4.4 million developers in North America, and there's going to be 12 million unfulfilled jobs by the end of this year, according to the US Labor Statistics Bureau. Or it might be 20 million. But anyway, it's more than 4.4 million. There's literally 2-3 times as many jobs needed than there are developers to even take the position. So make whatever you want to make, fam. It don't matter. Make whatever you want to make. Just make sure that you do it in an artful way, and you do it in a way that's going to make you stand out. So if you make that to do app, add some things like web push notifications and make it a progressive web app. Just do the stuff like that's just gonna make it stand out. But we're pulling up to the time. These were some really good questions. Please come back every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the questions. And once again, like, share. Head over to my website, JyroneParker.com.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lunar Scorpio. Let me type this in. So we're going to go. So head over to JyroneParker.com. I want you all to subscribe to my newsletter. I'm going to be utilizing my newsletter very heavily this year. I'm going to be doing things like giving offers, free content, my blog articles, uh, merchandise, the whole nine. But
She follows you on Twitter, Lunar. So it's from the
okay,
Twitter
you
family.
thank you, Twitter love, man. Twitter, I'm very thankful for Twitter. So and also I will be much more, I'm going to be more active on tech Twitter this year. I kind of was wilding at the end of last year, but you know how it goes. But once again, everyone, I'm getting off here. I have a meetup. I'm going to Derby Pie here in Louisville, Kentucky, doing this Python meetup. Over at Sullivan University. It was actually where my mom got her IT degree from. So anyway, I'm about to go do some networking. You know how I do. And keep it playing.
Who
So
knows? We might go live from there.
yeah, we might. Hey, if it's rocking, I might do a checkup. Might do it.
KY Bourbon.
Man, bourbon, man.
Look,
Listen, we don't even got the time for it, but yeah, we might have to do it. We might have to do a Kentucky bourbon coding stream one time. You know about some Kentucky bourbon. You in Vegas. Stick with your casino and your slot machines, fam. Nah, I was messing with you. But anyway, much love to everyone. I will see you live next
Said, let
Thursday.
me know.
And then I will have my uploaded video up.
Said she got fam and KY.
Okay. All right. Well, DM me on Twitter so I know, I know who you are. Send me a DM.
Oh, he.
Yeah. You got family in Kentucky? Yeah, hit me up. DM me so I know who you are. And yeah, we can definitely get some linked up. Ain't nothing for me to go connect with my followers. But all right. Peace, everyone.